everyone, I'm planting sweet potato slips today, and I thought I'd bring you along with me to show you how I do it. Now, just like anything gardening related, there are probably as many different ways to do things as there are gardeners. So I'm going to show you my preferred way of doing this, but if you have a way that you love to plant your sweet potatoes, or if you have any tips to share, please drop them in the comments. So what I have here, this was actually grown by a friend of mine, and I'm very thankful because I never seem to start my sweet potato slips on time. So the last 2 years she's gifted me with sweet potato slips. So basically they are sweet potatoes that have been rooted in soil, and they have all these green shoots coming off of them. And so what we're going to do is remove the shoots, and these are now the plants that I'm going to plant in my garden to grow my sweet potatoes. So each of these plants is rooted into the sweet potato, and I'm just going to pull them off, and you can see this one here has a little root on the bottom. I just have a little jar of water that I'm going to be using to put my slips in as I remove them so that the roots don't dry out. I apologize for Steve, the rooster. He's a little talkative this morning. There's another slip. Now some of these taller slips, like you can see that whole slip, so there's the root at the bottom, but each of these where you see a leaf attached to the stem, that's actually its own plant. Each one of those will develop its own roots. So I'm actually going to cut this into multiple sections so that I can have lots of sweet potato slips. So basically anywhere that there's a leaf that attaches to the main stem, I'm cutting just below it, maybe like a ½ inch below, and using that as a plant. So now out of that one stem, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sweet potato plants. So I'm going to pop those in my water jar. Now what some people will do is they will leave their slips in their jar of water for a few days to help them develop more roots, but I just put them directly in the soil as they are, and they seem to develop the roots just fine. So if you want to save a bit of time, you can skip that step. So when you are planting your sweet potatoes, you want the soil to be warm, and you don't want it to be a really hot, sunny day when you're planting these. So the reason I'm actually planting them today is because we're expecting rain for the next 2 days. And so it's going to be overcast and rainy, which is perfect for getting these slips established, because we don't want them to dry out, and we want them to develop roots as quickly as possible. So it is currently mid-morning, and it's warm, but it's overcast. It's not super bright and sunny, so it's a good day for planting sweet potatoes. You also want to wait until about 3 to 4 weeks after your last spring frost, because sweet potatoes like warm temperatures to grow. And they're actually a member of the morning glory family. They're not related to potatoes at all. So out of those 3 sweet potatoes, I got 3 jars of slips. So now I'm going to show you how to plant these. It's pretty simple. So I use a gardening method called square foot gardening. And usually with square foot gardening, people will have a grid on their raised bed that divides the bed into 1 foot sections. And I used to do it that way. I would have a string grid that I would put across my bed. But now I just use this, I found this seating square on Amazon. I can link to it in the description. But I find it a lot easier to just use this to mark out my squares now. So I just basically, I start at the end of the bed and I push it down into the soil, and then it comes with this little stick. And so for sweet potatoes, you want 1 sweet potato per square foot. So I just mark the center of the square. And so I've already pre-marked my whole bed. My raised bed is 4 by 10, but I don't plant anything in the last row because that's where my trellis is, and I use that for my climbing vegetables. So I'm only planting 9 rows of 4, so that would be 36 sweet potatoes. And so I'm going to do 1 slip per square. So you just take the slip and you put it into the spot that you marked. And I'm just going to do that for every square. Root side down, obviously. And you just want to kind of pack it in so that the roots, you get some of that air out of the roots. And so I'm just going to continue and do that until all of my squares are done. Now you might be able to see, I do have some random dill that's popped up in this bed. It just self-seeded from last year. And I'm going to try to leave it. I'm going to try to work around the dill because I can never have enough dill, and dill is a great pest repellent. So anytime it self-seeds, I like to just leave it where it is because I can use it and it helps to keep the pests away. So I got all the sweet potatoes in. You can see I did 1 per square foot. And now I'm going to go ahead and water these in really well. Even though we are expecting rain in a couple hours, I don't want to give these an opportunity to dry out. So I'm going to give them a good soak. And then I do have irrigation lines, so I'm going to go ahead and set those up as well, so that I can make sure that they're getting consistently watered even on days that I forget. So I do have quite a few slips left over. So like I said, that was 3 sweet potatoes. It did my entire raised bed with 36 plants, and I still have this many left. So I'm going to hold on to these. I'm going to keep them in water, and that way if any of my plants don't make it, then I have some replacements. And then after a couple of weeks, if they're all pretty established and I know that I'm going to be good, then I'll probably share these with some friends or anybody else who wants to grow sweet potatoes. So that's basically it in a nutshell. That is how I plant sweet potatoes. As you can see, it was really simple to do. It took me, maybe 5 minutes or so to prepare all the slips, and then probably another 5 minutes to stick them in the ground. I just wanted to share, I haven't been posting much on YouTube. I did start this channel quite a few years ago, but I really use my blog more than YouTube, so I do post on my Creekside Simplicity blog, but I've decided to start sharing more on YouTube. I started following somebody, her channel is called Solo in the Woods, and she's just a really lovely lady. She's very down to earth, and she talks about how she started sharing on YouTube, and she didn't know anything about YouTube, but she had something that she wanted to share. And her message is really that everybody can have a voice. And I think what I felt was that there's already so many gardening, homesteading, natural living YouTube channels, and I felt that I didn't really have much to add to that. But I think the truth is that we all have something of value that we can share. And if the way that I share resonates with you and you want to follow along and learn more as I'm sharing about simple living, natural living, I'm going to be learning more about herbal medicine. So I'm going to be incorporating some herbal medicine stuff into this channel and really just sharing everyday life. I think what held me back so much from posting on YouTube is that I never really felt like I had anything significant to share, anything that people would really care to watch. And I think what I'm going to just do is just share everyday life here on the homestead. Today I needed to plant sweet potatoes, so I thought I might as well turn the camera on and show you how I plant sweet potatoes. And I'm just going to be doing a lot more of that, just regular everyday sharing. To give you a little bit more about our story, so we moved onto our homestead about 6 years ago. My husband and I both lived in a city, and we decided to get, at that time we lived separately, we decided to get married and buy a property together. And so we found this beautiful property. It's about 2.5 acres. It's completely surrounded by a creek all the way around the property. And that's why the channel is called Creekside Simplicity, because we're all about simple living and just really getting back to our roots in terms of connecting with nature, growing our own food, making natural medicines, and just living a simple, natural life. So if that's something that interests you, I would love if you would hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so that you'll be notified when I post a new video. And I'll try to post fairly regularly. I'm going to try to get myself onto a schedule so I can be more consistent with my posting. And I'm also going to turn this into a blog post. So what I'll try to do is anytime I create a video, I will also create a blog post to go with the video. And so I will link that in the description below. But in the meantime, I hope this helped you feel a little more confident that you can grow sweet potatoes too. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye for now.